And welcome to another week of Upon Further Review. I'm Josh Aubrey. A busy weekend for Georgia Southern sports. You had the men's and women's basketball teams wrapping up the regular season at home with Thursday and Saturday games against Troy and South Alabama. For the guys, it was good news as they ended up winning both games. They had to do that to secure the 3rd seed. Now they're the number 3 seed in the upcoming Sun Belt tournament. With the victories, Georgia Southern now earns a bye in the first round, which was huge because a loss in one of those games, they could have ended up as even the 4, 5, or 6 seed. But now they're the number 3 in this week's Sun Belt tournament to be held in New Orleans. As for the women, news not as good. They're going to end up as one of the bottom seeds in the tournament and have to play their way through there, and it's been kind of a rough season for the Georgia Southern women, so maybe they can rebound and pick up a win in the tournament would be a nice way to end things at least. All right, as for our area high schools, we had some soccer action, some baseball action. Statesboro and Southeast Bulloch playing soccer. The Statesboro boys and girls were able to sweep Southeast Bulloch on the road in Brooklet. As for the baseball diamond, you had Southeast Bulloch with a couple of big games. They had a home game with Toombs County where they lost 12-7, and then they opened up region play by sweeping Savannah High. No big surprise there. They won 18-0 in the first game and 20-0 in the second. We'll have highlights of that. We'll have highlights from the soccer as well as Georgia Southern men's and women's basketball and baseball. Georgia Southern on the diamond. We're hosting Elon, their old Southern Conference foes. They lost 2 of 3. We'll have some highlights of that for you as well. But before we get to any of that, we'd like to remind you, for any legal advice you may have in the Statesboro Bulloch County area, we have the man for you to call. Lovett Bennett Jr., attorney at law PC. Lovett's office located in downtown Statesboro.
No credit refused isn't just an offer, it's a way of business and has been for over 100 years. No banks, no ridiculous credit requirements, just local Badcock store owners who treat you right and give you credit when others won't. It's never been easier to express your style and love your home.
Well, the Georgia Southern baseball team coming off a sweep of Fairfield, who are in the middle of a 4-game win streak. They beat the Citadel on the road, then lost to the College of Charleston, and then it was back to hosting Elon this weekend. The bats were not really there. The pitching was pretty good. They ended up winning on Sunday, losing on Friday and Saturday. Let's get out and show you some of the highlights. Georgia Southern women hosting South Alabama Thursday. First half action, Trail English Lurie penetrating for the basket. A little bit later, it's Alexis Brown going coast to coast. She'd finished with 18 points. Then it's Alexis Folk's turn. Nice drive. She gets the layup to go. Brown then spotting up and draining the 3. Eagles up by 1. Nicole Franks catching fire. She stops and pops, getting the friendly bounce for 3. Franks then hits for 3 more. And then it's Brown, pull-up jumper. More from the Eagles. Franks, the baseline jumper. And then it's Brown going in with the left hand and the foul on the inbounds play. A nice bucket here. The Eagles continue to try to pour it on. Folks hits a 3. And then it's Brown, pulling up and hitting 2 more. Down by 5. And 3 here for the Eagles. Georgia Southern continuing to work the ball around nicely, and Nicole Franks hits a 3. Then off the inbounds. Good dish to Franks for 2 more. Continue to feed the hot hand of Nicole Franks in the corner for 3. The game would end up going to overtime. Franks hits a 3 from the top of the key. And then the hoop. It wouldn't be enough. 81-74. The Eagles fall in overtime. We move to the guys' game. Georgia Southern and South Alabama. Mike Hughes drives. He'll get blocked, but McConnell there for the layup. Later it's Hughes for the hoop and the foul. Trey Mitchell answers on the other end. The Jaguars take a 19-17 lead. Jake Alsmiller then hits a 3. More from Alsmiller. He'd have a big couple games for the Eagles. He hits another 3. Roderick Sykes adds 3 on the other end. He'd finish with 23 points. Mike Hughes coming up strong. Wide open for the layup. Hughes with 19 points. Hughes then with 3 more. They work the ball over to him. The elbow, he hit the 3. Georgia Southern up 37-34 at the half. We move to the second half, and Monte Glenn with a big game. As he gets inside, misses but gets his own rebound and the putback. Glenn with 16 points. Quan Jackson then to Coy Simmons. Inside with a nice reverse. Jackson then hits the corner 3. Hughes then with the nice moves inside, spinning and hitting for 2 more. More nice ball movement for the Eagles. Jackson will come through with the finishing touch on the left hand and the foul. Jackson, then it's Tukey Brown off the glass, 2 of his 18. Ike Smith will then hit for 3. And the Eagles win 81-74. The Georgia Southern women hosting Troy on Saturday. Alexis Folks for 3. Amira Atwater then steps back and hits the 3 from up top. Next, the Lady Eagles going inside to Sarah Moore. Nicole Franks continuing her hot play. She hits the 3. Alexis Brown, the deep 3. Franks then 3 more of her 18 points in the game. Folks driving for 2 of her 17. The Eagles down 7. Franks cuts it to 4. Then it's Brown with the hoop and the foul. Later a steal by the Eagles. And they get this one ahead to Tatum Banks for the layup. Or rather Barber. And then it's Barber to Franks for 3 more. In the second half on the break, Takavian Akins goes in for the layup. Akins then with 2 more on the jumper here. The Eagles then work the ball nicely to Moore for 2 more. Atwater then comes through, driving, going in for the reverse. Franks then for 3 more. The Eagles continuing to stay close. Franks then inside with the nice moves. Alexis Brown then comes up with a layup, but it wouldn't be enough as the Eagles fall in this one by a final of 95-80. as Atwater goes in for 2 more. We move ahead to the guys' game, Georgia Southern and Troy. Third place on the line, Tukey Brown hits a 3. Mike Hughes will then drive in for 2. Monte Glenn on the blocks, fighting his way inside, and he'll get this one to go off the glass. Jackson then, or Tukey rather, to Quan Jackson for the bucket. Jake Osmiller with the big game. He'd have 8 3-pointers. Here's one here in the first half. Hughes would add a 3 himself. The Eagles with a 15-point lead. David Lee Jones with some nice moves. Ike Smith then inside for the bucket. Georgia Southern takes a 13-point lead. Hughes with the off-balance shot as he drives here in the second half. It's Monte Glenn a little bit later for 2. Ike Smith then outside spotting up for the 3. Eagles by 6. Tukey for 2. Driving in. Tukey 2 more of his 28, which would lead all scorers. And check out the 3 here. One-handed by Tukey. Everything going the Eagles' way. Tukey then, or Troy answers, and then it's Jake Alsmiller for 3 of his 24. Then it's Tukey with the finishing touch, and the Eagles win 89-83. Up next for the Eagles, they'll host Holy Cross on Tuesday evening at J.I. Clements. That, of course, is a non-conference matchup, and then they'll go on the road to Southern Miss for a Friday, Saturday, Sunday matchup this weekend. Stay with us. Coming up next, we'll head inside and see how the basketball teams did.
To stay ahead, a parent has to really be on the go and stop for school, stop for sports, stop for an intervention. But you don't have to stop for banking. To stay ahead with mobile online banking, bank ahead with Queensboro National Bank and Trust.
See Jeremy Reagan and the staff at Queensboro National Bank and Trust, South Main Street in Statesboro.
A sports injury can stop you in your tracks. At Optum Orthopedics, our specialized physicians and staff use advanced orthopedic procedures with one specific goal in mind: to get you back to you. If you have a sports injury, request an evaluation. Experience the Optum difference.
Family Internal Medicine Associates of Statesboro, providing primary care for Statesboro area patients since 1998, providing complete physicals, complete sports physicals, Medicare wellness exams, full diabetes treatment, and education from lifestyle changes to oral medications to insulin pump therapy, in-house dermatology, in-house circulation tests and ultrasounds, in-house lab. And introducing our new nurse practitioner, Melissa Beasley, as we now accommodate same-day or next-day appointments to serve your needs. Family Internal Medicine Associates of Statesboro, where we care. Well, the Georgia Southern basketball teams wrapping up the regular season at home Thursday and Saturday, matchups against South Alabama and then Troy on Saturday. Let's get out and send you out for some of the highlights.
the Phoenix in the fourth inning. No runs on one.
So next up for the men, they're the number 3 seed in the tournament. They'll play the winner of the 6 and 11 game. That game will take place on Friday. As for the women, they'll be starting things off by taking on Louisiana to open things up in the Sun Belt tournament. All right, well, stay with us. Coming up next, some high school action.
Hey, Miss Thompson, everything's fine. It's going to be no problem. I'll have you done in a few minutes.
My name is Paisley Nordhoff, part owner of Complete Car Care, and I want you to come see me.
The Medical Center Pharmacy on Grenade Street is proud to be your Health Mart pharmacy in Statesboro. The Medical Center Pharmacy, locally owned and serving this community for 50 years, is open 364 days a year. The pharmacists at Medical Center know there's nothing more important than your family's well-being. That's why they take the time to know their customers, explain their medications, and answer any questions. The Medical Center Pharmacy, your Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Well, on now we go to another inter-county matchup here in Bulloch County. This one taking place on the soccer pitch. Statesboro High heading to Southeast Bulloch. The girls had played earlier in this year as a fill-in game. Statesboro won that one pretty handily. This time around, a little more competitive matchup, and Southeast Bulloch goalkeeper Michaela James played really well, had a lot of saves, especially there in the second half. Statesboro won that one 3-1. And on the boys' side, the guys, Statesboro High ends up winning by a final of 5-1. Let's send you out for some of the highlights. Southeast Bulloch hosting Statesboro in the inter-county matchup. Girls first, Southeast up 1-0 on a Gracie Thompson goal. Statesboro tries to get one here, but Caitlin Carter denied by Michaela James. Next, Smith Kaiser the shot again, James the stop. Statesboro finally able to tie it. 17 minutes left. Isabella Gutierrez blasts this one into the upper left, and we're tied 2 minutes later from about the same spot. Gutierrez goes upper right, and the Blue Devils take a 2-1 lead. Just before the half, Southeast head coach Kristen Barnhill goes from a yellow card to a red and was ejected on the field. Carter taken down and awarded a penalty kick, which she puts in the back of the net to give Statesboro a 3-1 halftime lead. Second half, Statesboro with plenty of attempts, but James making all the stops. A nice attempt from Gutierrez right here from deep. Bangs off the crossbar. Later, a nice attempt by Jordan Palmer, but James stretches out and stops it. And then one more time, nice feed from Gutierrez to Palmer. James the stop, but it wasn't enough, and Statesboro wins 3-1. To the boys' game we go. Statesboro and Southeast. A nice pass ahead to Yanessa Maiga, but a nice stop to deny the goal. Later, Cole landing to Maiga, who this time gets it to go, and it's 1-0 Statesboro. Southeast with a chance to tie things up. Jacob Sandhagen pops it up in the air. The stop here, but the ball bobbled, and C.J. Edwards' attempt gobbled up. Payne Van Tassel later sets up Will Makowitz, but he's denied. Statesboro adds a Donovan Roberts goal just before the half to go up 2-0. Second half, Statesboro on the attack. Van Tassel to Maiga, and then it's John Desiderio putting it home. 3-0 Statesboro. Caleb Dowden then with the free kick. It's stopped, but Desiderio there for the putback. 4-0 Statesboro. Southeast finally breaks the shutout on this C.J. Edwards goal, but it wasn't enough. Statesboro adds a late Yair Garcia goal and wins 5-1. Moving now to the baseball diamond, where Southeast Bulloch was playing host to Toombs County earlier in the week, and then late in the week they took on Savannah High to open up region play. Let's send you out for some of those highlights. Southeast Bulloch hosting Toombs County in a non-region matchup. Early on, Toombs trying to attack with the bunt, but Tyler Bailey makes the throw at first, and then Tyler Deloach will fire to second for the double play. Toombs able, though, to take an early lead on this double to center, but the Jackets would come back. Deloach with the double to center himself. That would plate Bailey. And Chase Walker will step up and go the other way with this pitch. The 2-run single to right. And the Jackets up 3-1. Toombs would rally and comes back to take a 5-3 lead. The double to the fence here. But Southeast Bulloch right back. Toby Williams, the single into right. That will be followed by a single to center by Bailey. And Cole Mincy will bunt, and no one's at first, which would load the bases for Tyler Deloach, and he takes this one up, and away to straightaway center field for a grand slam. 7-5 Yellow Jackets. Michael Rigdon coming in and pitching well. He'd end up striking out the side here in the 4th inning. But Toombs would storm back. They'd add 1 run to cut it to 7-6. And then trouble on the throw. That would tie the game at 7-all. And then Toombs, the floodgates open. They'd score 5 unanswered runs, and they'd take this one by a final of 12-7. We move to Friday. Southeast Bulloch hosting Savannah High in a doubleheader. Chase Walker up to bat, and he takes this one down the left field line. It'll be fair, and that's good for a 2-run double. Tyler Deloach would later single up the middle. Shortstop unable to come up with the play. Another run scores. Then it's Mincy. The drive into right center. 2-run double. 13-0 Yellow Jackets. Will Hutchins then, or rather, this is Chase Walker again, and he hits another double to the fence. 14-0, and then Will Hutchins will single into right to make it 15-0. Meanwhile, Deloach on the mound, and he was mowing down the Savannah High batters. He'd strike out the side in the first, and he'd strike out the side in the second as well. And Southeast Bulloch goes on to take game 1 by a final count of 18-0. So we move on to game 2 after only 3 innings of the first game, and it's Peyton Carr with the RBI single into left. Tyler Deloach will then come up, and he hits a 2-run double to the fence in right center. Deloach later, the batter, and lofts this one deep to center. Trouble on the catch. 2 more runs score. Blaze Minnick will then step up, and he drives this one into left. Southeast up 10-0. Minnick on the mound in command. Plenty of run support. And the Jackets end up winning the game 2 20-0. And as for the Statesboro Blue Devils, they were swept by Benedictine, 3 games, 2 on the road and 1 at home. Next up for Statesboro, they'll be traveling to Richmond Hill on Monday and Friday, host Richmond Hill on Wednesday at Mill Creek at 6 o'clock. Well, that'll wrap things up for now. We appreciate you joining us and hope to see you again next week.